Okay guys, welcome back again. Here we have another Mercedes 654 engine, W212. And I think this is the 25th now that we've done the rocker arms on. And this vehicle here, customer found us off YouTube again. Mileage of the vehicle is 153,000. Now, I'm going to start up the vehicle and listen to the noise, see how it sounds. Here, there's that slight knocking noise coming from the rocker arms. I'm going to start dismantling it and show you step by step as we go along. So we've gone ahead, taken off the air filter box along with the following piping. You've got to move this bolt that sits on the intake pipe. Held on by 30 Torx, put that to the side, unplug it so we can take the whole loom like this. And this clip here, just break it off. You're better off putting on a Jubilee one than putting it back together. That's what we always do. Now we're gonna go ahead, remove some bolts around here to get access and remove the rocker cover, and then inspect the rocker arms. Okay, so we've removed the injectors, fuel pipe, injector rail, wiring harness. You've got to release a few bolts on this side of the EGR just so that we can get clearance. You don't have to, you've got to remove the two bolts, and the one at the back you just got to release so that we can remove the rocker cover, vacuum brake pipe. Like I said, this pipe here which connects to the rocker cover, release this bolt, remove this one, release that one, just move this out of the way. And as you can see, you've got to release this one so I can get the rocker cover out as well. Same for this one. Now we're close to getting the rocker cover off, and once we do, we'll take it from there. Okay, so we've taken off the rocker cover and we're going to bring the engine to timing, lock it up, spin it from the crank, remove this camshaft carrier with the camshaft complete. Before we lock it, we'll have to lock the gear wheels and then release them as well so that we can take it off and put it on easier. Because the gear wheels at the back are spring loaded, we're going to show you how to lock them. You've got to put a screwdriver in between, bring it, get a pin like that, put it in, and as you can see, it is now locked. Now same with the other side. Perfect. Okay, so we've locked the cams, as you can see as well, and at the bottom here we can see the OT mark as it is. It has to come to the right a little, just a little bit of the mark. That's right here, so that's perfect. This lines up as well. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the camshaft carrier. Now that we've gone ahead and removed all the bolts for the camshaft carrier, we're going to move the camshaft and its carrier together. And here we can see that, as usual, it's the exhaust side rockers which are worn. This one here, which is very bad. This one here also. This one here, this one, this one, this one. It's always the exhaust side that goes wrong. And as you can see, the intake side is all good. Now we're going to take off the rocker arms and the hydraulic lifters, clean up the surface nicely and prepare for the new ones to be gone in. So here's the camshaft and its carrier. Here, that's how it's locked. And when, as I said, when removing it, it's better if you release these bolts. It makes it easier when taking off the camshaft carrier, when putting it on. I think these are opposite threads, so yeah, watch out for that as well. So as you can see, I've gone ahead, cleaned up the surface. I'm going to clean up the holes for the injectors too, 3-4 of them. And once that's done, I'll be putting the new rocker arms into place, the new gasket for the camshaft carrier. When removing the camshaft carrier, there's a washer here, watch out for that. should either be here. It's a small rubber O-ring. Sometimes it could get stuck on the camshaft carrier side as well when removing it. When doing this job, we always advise customers to pick up this part. It's only a small £1 or £1.50 rubber O-ring. Nothing too expensive. But it's good to get this replaced when doing this job as well. Sometimes the tips here can have a bit of carbon build-up, so we get a small thin screwdriver, clean it in between, so that's all nice and clean when putting it back on. As you can see. Okay, so we've gone ahead, washed the rocker cover, replaced the gaskets. There's 3 gaskets we've got to replace on this. One's the outer one, the inner one, and one for the camshaft sensor. We replaced all of them. 1, 2, 3. Giving it a nice clean with petrol as well. Side. Nice and clean. The injector's already also new washers, cleaned up nicely. Now we're just going ahead and putting the rocker arms and the new hydraulic lifters on. We'll also put that rubber O-ring we were talking about. Now when taking these injectors out and putting it back on, make sure you grease up these small rubber nipples, rubber washers, rings, whatever you want to call it. Because if you don't grease these up nicely, when putting the fuel pipe, return pipe back on, you could end up damaging it. Whereas the grease, it just helps as a lubricant, helps it go in easier without any damage. Now, as you can see, all the new lifters and rocker arms are put into place. Now it's ready for the camshaft and the carrier to go back on. As I've explained before as well, I think this is the 25th vehicle we're doing for the rocker arm jobs. These are all the rocker arms we replaced, and these are just the ones from the 654 engines that we do. As you can see, there's a lot here. It's a very common issue on this vehicle. Not all of these here are worn, but when doing this job, we get the customers to pick up all 16 of them with the lifters to replace them for a peace of mind and not have any issues in the future. And as you can see, here are some of the camshaft parts and the gaskets that we replaced, and here are the ones that just come off the vehicle we've just done. We can add them to the collection as well. Yeah, as you can see, we get around once a week minimum coming, sometimes twice in a day. We get a lot of customers calling from YouTube asking about this issue a lot, for traveling from far, from Ireland, Portsmouth, Southampton, Brighton, etc. Now we're more than happy to help people answer, get this job done. We try, we usually get it done in the same day, less than a day actually, so that customers can get going back again. Now most of these vehicles that come in at this mileage are taxi use, So of course taxis, they've got to get it done as soon as possible, get back on the road. And it's their workhorse. So the sooner we get it done, the better for both parties. And here's just one of them, as we can see. Yep, that's not a very good rock around, as you can see. These are what tend to make the noise, knocking from side to side. And yeah, here's our collection. Okay, now I've also cleaned up the camshafts and the carrier nicely. Tying it back up slowly to torque. And then we shall be taking it from there. Okay, now we've tightened these down to torque specs. Is 6 Newton meters, 8 Newton meters at first, and then 90 degrees. And then we will be tightening the camshaft gear wheels as well. Then removing the timing lock, rotating the engine, see if everything is fine for us to carry on and close up the engine. As we release the camshaft gear wheel, it's got a torque spot, as you can see, 2 torque spots, 2 Torx 14s. You need this special tool to tighten it to torque. So we're going to show, if you put it on like this, yep, you got to tighten it up, it's opposite thread, so you got to tighten it towards the left, whereas this one you can just tighten it towards the right. And the tightening torque for these is 50 Newton meters, stage 1. Stage 2 is 90 degrees. So we've done the 50 Newton meters. Now we're going to take off the locking tools and then spin the engine, rotate it, see how things are, and then take it from there. Okay, so the rocker cover is ready to go back on now. All these bolts have been tightened down to torque spec. We said 8 Newton meters before, but it was actually 6, and we did do it to 6 because we always double check on the Haynes Pro. And the camshaft gear wheel at the back, 50 Newton meters as we showed you, and then the 90 degrees. Now we're ready to put the rocker cover gasket on and slowly put it back together. Okay, so we've gone ahead, put the turbo intake pipe on, the connector in the middle, ECU and air filter box, injectors in its place with the new washers, wiring loom, all put that back together. We should be ready to start in a minute or so. Okay, we should be starting up in a minute or so now. Turn the ignition on and off to get the fuel traveling through the system as we took off the injectors. And as you can see, it's running sweet now. As you can see, it's running very sweet now. The cover over the ECU, it was broken when it arrived. We advised the customer to replace it, so he's just going to take it as it's got the part number on it, and he should be able to pick up from there. And as we didn't replace the camshaft, he had it ready just in case. He will be taking it back and getting his money. Now that's finished, we'll move on to our next vehicle, which we're going to be uploading a video about, so stay tuned.